at the scene where a woman killed her husband because he stepped on the floor while she was mopping. Has the woman already been arrested?
Not yet. We're waiting for the floor to dry.
Well, hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. How are all of you doing? Well, it's another hot one down here in the south today, folks. But then again, I've been reading most of the country is in a heat wave at the moment, so I guess we're not the only ones who are suffering. I wanted to let you all know I was very successful in getting 2 out of 3 of my recently struck videos back up. All I had to do was fix them so that YouTube liked them. So there's some good news for us. And guess what I found, ladies and gentlemen? I think I have finally found a Frauditor who films the right way. Yup, no kidding. This guy seems to be doing it right as far as I can tell. And I've always said if I found a Frauditor who does it right, that I would make a video on that channel. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Big Man Audits, Mr. Cortney Michael Hay-Is-For-Horses of Lafayette, Indiana. Now I have watched several of his live videos on his channel, and I have to say he stands back out of the scene. He doesn't encroach. He doesn't yell. He doesn't scream. He doesn't berate the officers. He doesn't seem to insert himself into the scene or situation. And he doesn't try to make the elusive Frauditor story about himself. No, I just think old Big Red Cortney is a lonely man who has nothing better to do, who drives around in a car with his police scanner or one of those phone apps that plays police calls through it. You know, and when Cortney hears a call, he rushes to the scene so he can film the police while they are conducting their business. Now, that is not to say that, Big Red can't be a douchebag in some of his other audit videos, especially when he goes out with other Frauditors. But these are older videos, and the ones I've been watching are much newer. Now I have some bad news, folks. Cortney is not the angel we think he is. He does have a criminal record where he has several convictions in his past. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I know. But I didn't want you to think we had found the perfect Frauditor. So let's take a look into the criminal history of Big Man Audits. So old Big Red can drive a little bit better than the other Frauditors that we've exposed lately, but still, he has over 10 tickets, or he has 10 tickets, I should say, in an 8-year period. But look, he hasn't had a ticket in over 7 years. It's almost like Cortney has made a turnaround in his life after a prison stay and multiple arrests for other crimes over the years. 12 of them, as a matter of fact, but nothing outside of Indiana in the past 10 years that I can find. As I said, it's almost like he's making a change in his life. So on 10/23/2003, he got picked up for juvenile using tobacco under the age of 18 years old in Tippecanoe County, Indiana. He was found guilty and given a $262 fine, of which $137 was suspended. Now we go ahead, 10 months, and on July 6, 2004, he's charged with juvenile using tobacco under the age of 18 again out of Tippecanoe County, and that charge was dismissed. We go ahead to December 20th, 2005. It says he was charged with trespassing out of Tippecanoe. Wow, that one's going to be hard to say throughout this whole video, isn't it, folks? Anyways, he was found guilty. He was given 1 year unsupervised probation, a diversion agreement, $352 in court costs, and per an agreement with the prosecutor's office on June 18th, 2007, he got that case dismissed. and that was pursuant to an administrative rules. This case file has been destroyed according to the court documents. And now we're going to go ahead to 9/22/2006. He's charged with trespassing. He was found guilty, given 365 days in jail, suspended, 1 year of unsupervised probation, and a $509 fine and fees. Interestingly enough, this case no longer shows up in the court system. So I'm wondering, as you're going to see as we go through here, I did a background check on him in like 2023, 2024. Found all of these cases. Yesterday I went back through and looked again to make sure there wasn't anything new. In a bunch of the cases that I had found were no longer showing up, and I'm wondering if he is getting all these charges reversed somehow. It doesn't say that on the court websites. The cases have just disappeared. There could be a statute where after so many years, if you behave yourself or whatever, after so many years, they can be dropped off the records. I'm not sure. But his big crime came on May 8th, 2008, when he was indicted for conspiracy to commit a robbery, which was a felony, theft, which was a felony, and aiding or inducing confinement, which was a felony. Those were all out of Tippecanoe County in Indiana, and he pled guilty to counts 1 and 2, conspiracy to commit robbery and theft. Count 3 was dismissed in the plea agreement. He was sentenced to 3 years in Indiana Department of Corrections on count 1 and 3 years in Indiana Department of Corrections on count 2. They were supposed to run consecutively. 3 years of that ended up being suspended, and he was placed on 2 years probation. Now, last year, July 2nd, 2024, this case, he got it expunged pursuant to Section 7 of Indiana Code 35-38-9. So he got his felony case expunged. So it seems like he's going back through and getting all of his court cases dismissed or thrown out or expunged. So it looks like he never had a criminal history. But luckily, old Andre, he'd done a check a couple years ago and found all these, so he can't deny that they were there at one time. Now, he was really good for 6 years, and then on August 27, 2014, he was charged with invasion of privacy, a misdemeanor, out of Tippecanoe County, Indiana. He was found guilty to have no contact with the victim. There's the protective order number for the case. There was a $500 fine imposed, 365 days in jail, 335 were suspended, so he did 30 days in jail, and unsupervised probation for 335 days, and he was ordered to attend a batterer's prevention program. This case no longer shows up in the court system. And we go ahead, not even a year, on April 30th, 2015, he's charged with invasion of privacy again. He failed to appear in the case, and on June of 2015, the prosecutor NOLA prosecuted the case with a $30 fee, and this case no longer shows up in the court system. It's very interesting, in my opinion, that he's gotten them all taken out. Now, we're going to go ahead. He's got some civil cases. On March 24, 2009, there was a lawsuit by JJKM Investments against Mike and Cortney for eviction. On the motion of the plaintiff, the case was continued without a date, and that's because on September 16th, 2009, the lawsuit was brought again, this time for $1,626, and the eviction of Mike, Alice, and Cortney, and that actually got awarded to the plaintiffs, and Mike, Alice, and Cortney were given 30 days to comply. Now, on July 25th, 2012, Charlotte sued Cortney for small claims, and it says that case ended up being dismissed. And now we're going to go ahead to July 21st, 2014. Cortney sued Brittany in court to establish paternity. To establish paternity of a juvenile child. Paternity was established. Child support was set up. But Cortney and Brittany got married in 2019, so the court order was dismissed. On November 13th, 2014, Consolidated Property Management went after Brittany and Cortney, probably for eviction, I think it was, if I remember right. That case actually got dismissed by the plaintiff because Brittany and Cortney had already moved by the time it got into court. And then we got June 30th, 2015, the Indiana Department of Revenue went after Cortney for a state tax lien for the year 2011 for $193. Oh, now we go ahead 5 years to September 10th, 2020. Glenbook Credit Acceptance Corp went after Cortney for $6,981. Cortney failed to appear in court on 3 separate occasions, so finally the judge got tired and he awarded to the plaintiff, and then later in the case a garnishment was approved for Cortney's paycheck after non-payment of the award. And then on June 9th, 2021, Cortney filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and that was discharged on 11/29/21. So we got our header here, Big Man Audits. Cortney Red Michael Himenaha. He's also known as Big Man Cortney Audits or Big Red. He was born in September 1987. We blocked out his street address there in Lafayette, Indiana. And we got 4 email addresses for him that we have to block out so we don't get in trouble. And I've got a couple of Facebook pages there also that we had to block out so we don't get in any trouble. And let's see, he appears, like I said, he appears to do audits correctly, so I got to hand him that. And then I did notice that he's had 12 addresses in 20 years. So it's like every 18 months he decides to just pack up his stuff and move, which is quite interesting to me that somebody would do it that often. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Big Man Audits. Cortney Michael Hay-Is-For-Horses from Lafayette, Indiana. Now, as I said, it looks like Cortney wants to change somewhat and try to do better. I can't say he's changing completely because he still has the criminal mentality and the anti-police persona. I guess it is what it is, and we have to take what we can get. At least for the most part, it does look like he films correctly. Go check out a couple of his videos and let me know what you think. I want to thank all of you for coming to watch the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. A thumbs up for the algorithm would be greatly appreciated. If you're a guest and not a member, please consider subscribing so you'll receive notification of every video coming out that exposes another Frauditor. Now, I have my usual request to back the blue and show support for your local law enforcement. And the Officer Down Memorial page is now saying 34 law enforcement officers have died in the line of duty so far this year. And the bluehelp.org website is telling us 50 law enforcement officers have taken their own lives so far this year. I'm hoping to reach out to someone with some numbers that you can call if you're feeling like harming yourselves. They say 22 veterans a day take their own lives. 22 each and every day. That's way too many every year when the VA has so many resources and services that can help out a vet. All I can ask, military, veteran, police, fire, or even a civilian, if you're thinking of hurting yourself, there is a number here on the screen that you can call to get help. Now, I may have a very exciting video for you all, which is an exclusive, actually, on Press NH Now. Mark John, a man-child himself, if my source does come through. Or I'll have to pick another victim for the next video that we're going to do. But for now, that's all I have. So until next time, y'all take care out there now.